Dandelion, you're a joy to my eyes. Dandelion, you're a joy to my eyes. Oh, your yellow and gold flies through the breeze. Far and wide you spread your seed.
From the mundane to the magic, and the humble to the harmonious, I'm now ready to share with the world the medicine that has inspired me to release old fears and patterns and realize my full potential, finding the full spectrum of peace and excitement and everything in between, and that it's available to me right now and in each and every moment as I walk my own unique path of wonderment in the world. This podcast will inspire, hopefully, not only my journey and my story, but also yours. Welcome to Dandelion Stories. I'm Emily Doe, sharing stories through this podcast and learning and growing as I go. Hello and welcome to this 6th episode of Dandelion Stories. Today I was hoping that we would have another female guest on to chat with me, and that is in the pipeline. However, I still feel extremely called to a sense of quietness, to a sense of calmness, to a sense of not putting too much pressure on myself, not living up to all of the time constraints and the deadlines that we can put on ourselves, that we have been conditioned to put on ourselves. And one thing that I'm extremely interested in at the moment is when I look and I research the astrology of our time, the cosmic energies that are at play currently are really asking this of all of us. It's really a time for us to become so much more aware of our inner knowing, aware of our body's wisdom. And I love that I have been able to turn this passion of mine that I'm resurrecting from my teenage years, when I used to be extremely interested in the zodiac, and I'm now able to use the things that I am learning through the deep diving that I do on a weekly basis, almost a daily basis, with astrology, and bring that energy into the work that I'm delivering in the world via this podcast and also via my movement community over at Movement Foundations. And this week, actually tomorrow and Wednesday, we have, depending on where you are in the world, we have a full moon in Pisces. We are in the sun sign of Virgo. And there's also a partial lunar eclipse. And this is where the sun and the earth and the moon line up, so that the moon is actually in the shadow of the earth. And this is important because often during eclipse season, which usually would start either on a new moon or a full moon, and then it will run till the next new moon or full moon. And these are quite potent times in terms of energy shifts and realizations. And so one of the things that I've been really strongly feeling in terms of my own energy and the way that I care for my energy is that I am able to now release or let go of a lot of the expectations that I have placed on myself. I'm being called to look at the ways that I have been performing and the untruths really that I have been telling myself about how important it is that I keep up the status quo, that I keep up this performance, when actually the truth of the matter is that I am going through a deeply transformative journey and have been now for the past few years. And I think many people can relate or resonate with that statement. And I am actually changing form. I'm changing identity. And what is coming up for me at this time is deep, and it's wanting to be cleansed, and I'm allowing myself time to feel into what's emerging for me. And what's emerging for me is that I am birthing a new version of me, which is all about my creativity. It's all about my dream space. It's all about visions that I have for myself and for my artistic projects, whether that be writing a book or creating art itself, whether it's writing songs, and integrating those powerful creative visions into the way that I am actually living my life. And rather than them staying in my mind or trapped within my body as urges or yearnings, I'm allowing myself to speak my truth. I am telling the people around me about my visions. I am writing them down in my journal, and I am in the process of doing that, bringing them more fully realized into my reality. And it's exciting. But it also means that I realize and recognize that I have to let go of some things that I maybe have been doing for a really long time in order to make the space for these new energies and these new cycles of creativity to come in. So I decided that rather than push myself to organize a guest for today's podcast, that I would actually be a little bit more reflective and tell you a little bit about my process in these times, but also share with you the meditation that I have created for this full moon in Pisces, which is, like I said, coming up on either the 17th or the 18th of September 2024. So I'm inviting you really in this moment to have a little think for yourself. And actually, as we go into the meditation shortly, you'll actually get to not just think, but feel in an embodied way how you do care for your energy. Because I've mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. Time is a funny thing, especially in my world as a neurodivergent person. And I'm always overly optimistic about time, and especially overly optimistic about how much I can fit in a certain amount of time. And so I end up forcing or pushing myself, and it leads to burnout and it leads to overwhelm. And then my nervous system becomes dysregulated. I become disconnected from my true yearnings and my desires for what I want to create in the world. And it becomes very performative. So how do you care for your energy? And this is what this meditation is going to really bring into focus. It's what this full moon is going to illuminate even more deeply for us all when we are aware of it. So last Wednesday at bedtime, I was playing around with my 11-year-old daughter, and she asked if we could play with some of my oracle cards. And so I let her choose a deck, and she chose to pull a card from the Green Witch's Oracle, and she asked me to do the same. Now, the Green Witch's Oracle deck was the first deck I was ever drawn to, and this was only back in January this year. And I'm really amazed actually at how much has happened since January this year. And as I'm recording this podcast, I'm really called to recognize what a transformation I have been on since then, and also to recognize that the adventure for me has really truly only just begun. So as I was pulling the card from the deck, I specifically asked for guidance on how I should spend the next day. I hadn't really at that point planned any specific tasks or have any appointments in my calendar. And so what tends to happen on those days is that I kind of scramble around with little focus, with a lot of distraction, and I kind of hop from one job to another, whether that be housework or watching things on YouTube or reading books or going onto the internet and researching things for my book. And at the end of the day, I don't really feel that I've really achieved that much. And maybe that's okay. So as I pulled the card was the snow card. And the words that were written at the bottom of the card were rest and contemplation. And so I immediately knew how I should respond. And I knew right away that I should clear the decks and actually just put my feet up for the day. And I recognized in that moment that I'm not always caring for my energy. And in this illusion of time and feeling that I can get more done than I actually can in a limited space of time, my energy is being impacted because my nervous system is being impacted. And so whilst I love to explore concepts and ideas and learn new words and their meanings and spend lots of time in the liminal spaces of my existence by reading and playing, exploring, creating, I also have to remind myself that I live in the real world and I absolutely want to enjoy all of it. And that is the world in which I am a mum of 2 preteen girls. I'm responsible for making packed lunches and cooking dinner, doing regular school runs, cleaning and tidying the house and getting laundry put away, which is my biggest peeve. I want to say gardening, but that went back to the domain of spiders, slugs, beetles, birds, and of course, my friends, the dandelions, a really long time ago. And I could really stay in the crevices of my mind all day long if it wasn't for the fact that I'm needed and that my work with you guys so brilliantly reminds me on a daily basis of the importance of my breath and my body. So on Thursday, I woke with an intention to rest, and I actually wrote my newsletter for this week the evening before. I had this kind of crazy spark of creativity and it was just so easy. I was in my flow. I was like, if I just go and write this now, then I've got the rest of the week, this week and the whole of the weekend to rest and enjoy my time with my partner and with my friends. And in resting up for the day, I was able to contemplate what my whole being needed. With no hamster wheel of activity or being busy for busyness sake, no need to rush about or be productive, I had gifted myself the day off to rest and conserve my energy. And how often in our society, in our culture, do we feel that we can actually give ourselves that gift, the gift of rest? It always feels so, or has done in the past, always felt so icky, like so unallowed, so naughty almost to give yourself the gift of rest. So in slowing down and basking in the time for my self-care, I was nurturing myself with an intention to take that calm that I cultivated with me into my weekend, and it was amazing. So I'm going to share with you now the full moon meditation. I invite you to go somewhere comfortable. You could lie down on your bed, you could sit in a comfy chair, you could sit on a yoga mat or just down on the floor. Doesn't really matter. As long as you're feeling the support from the surface beneath you and you're able to kind of really lean into that. And if you sign up to receive my weekly newsletter, which comes out to you on email each Monday, you will be notified to the recordings for each of the new moon and full moon meditations each month, and they incorporate movement. So it's a bit of a fuller experience, and you can have those directly to your inbox, along with the musings of me, where I talk about things that are related to movement and the cycle of the moon. I would absolutely love to have you over there, so please do check the show notes for a link for you to go straight to the sign up for that email. So at this time, when a lot is coming up for us, and we're feeling potentially lots of emotions, or we're having crazy dreams, or we're remembering things from our past that we may feel very impacted by, it can be really, really important to take good care by grounding ourselves so that we can simultaneously expand and grow. So maybe go for a walk barefoot on the earth today if you feel called to that, so that you can receive and integrate whatever is coming up for you this full moon and during this meditation. Before we begin, just a note to say, eclipses come close to the time of equinoxes, and we've got the fall equinox or autumnal equinox happening in the northern hemisphere. And of course, it would be the spring equinox in the southern hemisphere this weekend on the 22nd of September. And the equinoxes balance the light and the dark. They literally remind us of the light and dark within each of us. And so it can be helpful to set intentions for your dream time and to ask for guidance. Like, what are you asking for at this time? What do you want answers for? So be intentional and ask those questions to the universe. And this meditation that I'm going to take you through is going to help you to connect and align with our gut. Virgo, very, very connected to gut knowing, gut intuition, something that we have been taught out of in our conditioning, and something that we're being very called to come back into the awareness of now. It's going to get very difficult for us to ignore or push away our instincts and our gut knowing and our body's messages for when we're not feeling comfortable, or we're not feeling regulated, or we're not feeling safe. And so this practice is going to help us to attune to that. It's also going to help us to connect with our heart, align with what our hearts want to create, and also to align to the oneness that we all are. It can be really, really powerful to find inner stillness in the midst of the storminess of our times. And that is a quote taken from Heather Ensworth, an astrologer which I've been following for some time over on YouTube. Heather Ensworth says, we actually have the capacity to be in alignment with these cosmic energies, which can support the shift in the collective consciousness. And we can all attune more to this knowing of universal love, of this oneness. We are actually co-creators with the universe. Our consciousness and our potential as humans, we can have an impact globally and also within ourselves and our communities. We are being called to remember in the midst of the turbulence around us that we have the capacity to heal, that we have the capacity to heal dysfunction and disconnection from ourselves, from our bodies, from our souls, and from our spirits. Oh, and let's not forget from nature, from Mother Earth herself. We are being called to clear the darkness that we've been caught in as humanity. And we are being called to remember our connection to the sun, the moon, the planets, and the stars. We are releasing the energies which have kept us in the illusion of separation, and we are birthing a new earth. We have the capacity with our free will and our choices to heal and transform. So how do we embrace our free will? The light of the sun is coming to us in technicolor, and we each have our own unique expression of the light. We all have our own hue or frequency or color, but also honor that we're being called into this unified field, almost like when the light shines on a sun capture and then a prism is created. We are meant to all express that diversity of who we all are. So what are your unique gifts to express with the world, and how can they be of service? How can you honor the light within you? And how can you cultivate humility as part of your spiritual existence or your practice here? Give yourself time during this full moon to go deeply within and to be open to the guidance that is there for us within the universe within us, our body's wisdom. We have this huge capacity to open to intuition, and for too long now we've been dumbing them down, we've been pushing them away. We can hear the messages from our bodies, and we can honor spirit guides and cosmic consciousness, and we can be open to the healing that we need to do on a personal level to help to transform the collective. So what is going on for you when you feel regulated, when you feel safe? And a relaxed body is actually a very powerful body. There's a quote from Eckhart Tolle, and it says, the more consciousness you bring into your body, the stronger your immune system becomes. And it is as if every cell awakens and rejoices. Your body loves your attention. It is also a potent form of self-healing. So now the time has come for you to really make yourself comfortable. Take a lovely deep breath and then let it out. There are powerful astrological energies always at play to guide us and support us in reconnecting to ourselves. Let's harness the energy of the full moon and recognize the potent magic gained from this chance to get quiet and listen to our body's knowing. The weaving of messages and communication between body, mind, and spirit. If you feel called to stay still and quiet, you are invited to. However, if you feel the call to move and stretch, then please do listen to that innate and instinctive knowing from within you. Honor those messages and move in whichever way feels good to you. There is no right or wrong way to move. There is no right or wrong way to move or express yourself. In caring and becoming acquainted with the messages from your own nervous system, you are able to trust yourself more and have the confidence needed to express what you need in order to tend to your desires. Taking this responsibility for yourself is a courageous act of love. Caring for your own rhythms, cycles and energy so that you can be there for yourself, but also be the best version of yourself in service to others. The full moon in Pisces is calling us to each contemplate how we try to control our own lives, often with strict or rigid control over ourselves and our schedules, having us performing in ways which does not care for our energy and which does not allow us to make decisions and act from a place of regulated calm. It often has us playing out old programs, beliefs, or obligations which no longer feel aligned for us to fulfill our potential or satisfy our heart's desires. Bring your hands to your stomach and give your tummy a lovely rub. As we bring our focus to this area of our tummy and our solar plexus, our gut, is there anything there right now? Any sensations, physical sensations or emotional sensations, any longings? This Pisces full moon happening during Virgo season is reminding us that there is so much wisdom in the gut brain, our inner knowing, our intuition. We have been taught and conditioned not to listen to its messages. Take a gorgeous deep breath into your torso, into your belly. Invite in spaciousness, invite in fluidity. Allow it to soften and find yourself settling more into that place. As we sit quietly observing our breath moving us here, ask your gut, is there anything it wants you to know? Any ideas, any messages, and allow your mind to make sense of that knowing and honor it. Thank it. Feel the aliveness of your nervous system. The great communicator. What is going on for you right now? When you feel regulated, when you feel quiet, and when you feel safe. What does your body need? But also, what does your soul need? Know that you can trust your gut as you weave these messages, this uniting of body, mind, and spirit. Stay quiet in this moment and listen. Stay quiet in this moment and feel. Allow yourself to come back to the remembrance of your brilliant body and the way it can communicate with you, to guide you and support you. You have the capacity to create your own stillness in the midst of a storm. Now feel your pelvis. Feel the ground beneath. Lean into the support. Relax your muscles. Are you holding on anywhere? Allow yourself to soften. Soften. During this full moon, grounding is extremely important. Notice the floor beneath you. Notice the support. Take moments for yourself. Ask your pelvis now, what daily practices will ground me? How can I contemplate more my energy body and how I can take care of it so that I can flow more easily through life? It may be something you are aware of and have been thinking about for a while already, or it may be new information for you to process. Know that your body is talking to you for your highest good and wants for you to feel well and looked after. Now bring your awareness and your hands to your heart center. this most loving and trusting place within you, the amazing part of your anatomy where you hold things so dear. Now trust the messages from your heart. Trust your heart's knowing. Ask your heart now for guidance from your inner child. What unique gifts do you have to light yourself up, and in doing so, light up the world around you? Trust it. Trust it for yours and your community's highest good. Now to consider how you can communicate. How can you ask for the help and support you need to achieve your desires? The people in your life want to help you. They want to see you thrive. And in finding your voice and speaking your truth, you give permission to those around you to do the same. We all get to rise together. After this, maybe take pen to paper and journal on the messages and ideas which came to mind from connecting with your body's wisdom. And in writing and playing with these ideas, we step closer towards manifesting them into our reality. We are all powerful energy bodies and we can create. The more we can get out of our own way and the more we can open up to our soul path emerging, we will be supported by the potent cosmic energies, and we will sense more ease in letting go of what no longer serves us in order to take on new forms or identities. Take a moment for thanks. Thank yourself now for taking this time today to care for your energy, to care for your nervous system, and take a moment for gratitude. What blessing in your life are you thankful for in this moment? As you take another beautiful, big, deep breath into your belly, and as you breathe out, really soften. Maybe do that again as you just yawn in your in-breath and sigh it out. Maybe take your arms over your head and feel a stretch through your body. Wake up your body. Wake up to the rest of your day. I wish you a beautiful, contemplative, and restful full moon in Pisces. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for taking this moment for yourself to connect with yourself, to connect with your body's wisdom, with your intuition, with your inner knowing. And I really look forward to the next time we come together. Sending so much love. When we work together in collaboration with each other, helping other women to find their voices and share their stories, it gives permission for everybody else to rise up and do the same. So until next time, sending so much love.
Dandelion, you're a joy to my eyes. Dandelion, you're a joy to my eyes. Oh, your yellow and gold flies through the breeze. Far and wide you spread your seed.
I want to give a big, heartfelt thank you to Lura Julius-Cohen for donating so kindly her beautiful Dandelion song to this podcast. Lura is the lead singer-songwriter of Solebound. Go check them out. I've put links to their socials in the show notes. Lura also loves dandelions, and she loves how far their seeds can travel, just like songs and stories. Again, I'd just like to mention that I really love it when you share, rate and review on whichever podcast station you prefer to listen to. Thank you.